Hi, this video is going to help you with slides 3 and 4 of your map and weather benchmark. You are going to collect and graph your data to make some weather predictions. So the first thing is you'll see this table over here. When you did your individual landmark research before you got a group, you actually had this part filled out. And so whichever group member belongs to the first location that you're doing, they should let you borrow their individual landmark research so you don't have to look this up again. How you decide on which locations to do the weather on for slides 3 and 4, I guess that would also be important to know, is once you have your map filled out and you know what order you're going in for your landmarks, next thing I want you to do is I want you to take the two that are furthest away from each other. So probably the one that's most north and the one that's most south, or maybe it's the one that's most west and most east. Pick the two that are furthest away from each other. And those are the two that you need to do the weather predictions for, because probably everyone else in between those two places are going to fall somewhere in the middle of those two. So once you've chosen which location you're going to do and you've got your answers for your average high temperature, then you're ready to move on. If you are going to have to re-look up this data, then you're going to go to wonderground.com, which is Weather Underground. That's what the W stands for, so Weather Underground. And you're going to find the information again. If you need to watch the video on how to do that, go back to the individual landmark research help page and you'll see that video. So we're going to move on and be ready to graph. When I look at this, I'm going to get a little bigger here. When I look at this, I have already given you all the ordered pairs. I have the 100 in the wrong spot. That's not good. Hopefully that happened after you made your copy. And so you need to tell me what your independent variable is going to be. Remember, an independent variable is going to be time. If there's time given, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the independent variable. So in this case, it's going to be your year. And then your average high temperature in degrees Fahrenheit is going to be your dependent variable. Then the next question is, how are you going to scale your axes? So when you look here, these go from 2012 to 2021. So I would probably just go by ones on this one. Here's 2010, which means this one you could put 2015, 2020, 2025, and then you'll be good to go. So you're only going to graph points up to 2021. So yeah, I would just count each one of these little guys by one, or count every 5 bolded ones by 5 years. Now, on the y-axis, when you're scaling that, I can't imagine that any place has an average high temperature of more than 100. If yours does, you may have to do something different, but I would make this very top one 100. And so then if you think about what that means, is you could make this one 25 degrees, this one's 50 degrees, this one's 75 degrees, and then here's 100. If this first one is 25 degrees, then you have to think about what do all of those little ones count for. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. So it'd be 5 degrees, 10 degrees, 15, 20, 25. Considering we're talking July in the United States, you're probably not going to have a lot of points down here, but then you continue going. So if this is 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, label this one as 50, label this one as 75, and then you have 100 at the top. Now, since I have already given you these text boxes, you may have to adjust some of the text boxes, but you could just copy 100 and then you can paste it, drag it to where you need to put it, and then just change the number. So then that way you don't have to worry about formatting it to look the same as mine. And then you could do the same thing down here. I have 2010 here, so you just copy, paste it 3-4 times, and then you would type 2015, 2020, 2025, and 2030. I wasn't too picky on the California population, but this is the second time we've done one of these assignments, so I fully expect, in order to give full credit, that you have labeled the bold lines for both axes, the X and the Y. Once you have it labeled, then you take your ordered pairs, pick a dot, drag it over. Oh, undo is going to be your friend. Pick your dot, make sure you see the plus sign. There we go. We'll just use this one, plus sign, and then it still didn't work. And then move it. If you're having a hard time and you're like, Miss Burns, I do have paper copies, just come get one. And then when you're done with pages 3 and 4, take a picture with your Chromebook. Remember, you can go to Insert, Image from Camera, and then just put it in front of your screen and take a picture. And then that way, when I look at your weather and map benchmark, I'll see everything all together, and you'll have it all together as well. Once you have your graph done, then you're going to answer some questions. Do you see any clusters? Clusters are going to be lots of numbers together in the same spot. Outliers are really far away. So like if in July the average temperature is 85 and then 87 and then 82 and 94, if then it was like 25 degrees, that would be an outlier. It's way far away from the rest of the data. And then think about, what association do you see? Do you see a positive association? Do you see negative association? Maybe you see no association, or that it's like zero slope, like it's just always the same or close to the same temperature. That could also happen. Once you've talked about your association, I want you to list 2 observations. What are things that you see based on your scatter plot? And then after using the line to make your line of best fit, what predictions do you have? So once you have your points, then you'll click on this line. Remember, you use the little dot to turn it, and you'll draw the line of best fit wherever it fits your data after you have the points. Remember, you want some atop, some below, and then maybe it'll even go through a couple points. You're going to use that to then predict what July 2022 should be. So we don't know for sure what the future holds, but looking at past data, we can use that to make some usually pretty decent predictions on the weather for the next year. And then you are done with that location. And like I said, you have to do 2 locations, the 2 that are furthest apart on your trip. If you have any more questions, please let me know.